I tell you guys, one way you know you're getting older is when you start paying more attention to the incompetence of people, places, and things. You know, you might go to a hotel and you expect, a certain kind of service, and if you don't get it, you're gonna get mad, especially if you don't. Especially if you pay a certain amount of money, you expect good service. That's why you're paying what you're paying for, and when you don't get it, it makes you mad because you work hard for it. But when you start getting older, you start just noticing the incompetence. I got a video out there called "Incompetence is Competence" now, but it's no need for me to post that. Like I kind of want this to just be a fresh new rant about incompetence. You know, over the years, I worked in a hospitality field for a long time, and so I remember a time where you had competent workers. Whether you talking about a restaurant, a department store, clothing store, whatever. That's why. But the thing is that there's still places out here where you can get competence, people, but you're gonna pay a price. Sometimes, or if you don't pay a price, you're gonna have to go out of you're gonna have to make time to get there. Because wherever they're herding everybody, to get away from the herd, you might have to get up an hour earlier. Stuff like that. But yeah, you get older and you start remembering the time where people were more competent. You go to these department stores, and I don't care if you go into the drugstore, department store, restaurants, wherever, they're substituting. You could see a worker one week. You might go to the same store all the time. You notice how workers are just coming in and out. And the problem with that is that whenever you see stuff like that, you know that the service goes down and the product that you're putting out is not going to be as good. So then you say, well, why can't they just pay people enough to keep them there and make sure? I mean, look, you give the people what they ask for. If the people are not asking for quality, if the people don't care about getting a shitty product, then you give them a shitty product. If people want stuff that took an hour to make, you only gonna do what the people ask for. If people don't care about wearing something that took I don't know, 3 minutes to something you got out of the garbage can or something, then you give them what's out of the garbage can. That's what they ask. That's what they don't mind having trash, so you give them trash. Whether you're talking about movies, whatever. Everybody talking about, movies used to be good, and what's going on? Maybe we just running out of talent. I don't know. I got questions about that too. Are we really at the end? Have we ran out of talent? Have we gotten to the point where everything is just being copied from something previous? You know what I mean? I don't know, guys. I haven't been watching movies for a long time, so I really don't know the answer as far as that genre is concerned. But just to get back to this thing and close it out, I don't want to keep it long. And the thing is, you're getting older. When you just you expect, you don't expect much out of people as it is, right? You know where we at psychologically with these people out here. But when you don't expect them to think how you think or to be as literate as you are, nothing. But even at a lower standard, sometimes these people, it's like they still can't do it. It makes me think about when Bobby Hemmett, now this is the early 2000s, Bobby Hemmett was talking about most of these so-called black brothers. It was black guys. He was talking about black guys. That's what I like about Bobby. If you're gonna talk about other races, then you better talk about your own too. And you guys know I'm not afraid of that. You see what I'm saying? It's like the Bible say, take the plank out of your own eye before you start judging other planks and other ships. But he said that you take one of these brothers, you take them to Burger King, you try to explain how to put ketchup on mustard. And Bobby, it was the way he said it. It was funny, but it was sad at the same time. He said, the brother could not do it. In other words, you got people out here that can't even put ketchup on a hamburger. I told you guys a few weeks ago that sometimes I feel like, I came down here to clean up a mess. I feel like a janitor. And I say, whether you're a poor janitor or a rich janitor, you're still a janitor. You're cleaning up other people's mess. they can't do it. That's why I don't get too happy when people talk about something good. I'm like, don't BS me. I got to clean up people's mess, right? That's what I came, like, be for real. You got a bunch of incompetent people out here who cannot do their job, man. They just simply can't do it. You need something done, no matter how simple you tell it to them, they still can't get it done. So whether people like me or not, doesn't matter. What people know about me is that I can get the job done. That's all people should really, that's all anybody should really care about at the end of the day. I don't have to like you. Can you get the job done? That's all I care about. That's all anybody should be caring about. You know, we're on this planet, right? That's the only equality we all really have, is we all on this planet, so we have to be helpers to keep up this planet, right? So you need competent people. You can't be focused on whether you like somebody or not all the time. But just to close it out, guys, you know, I try to be, you know, I feel myself going into that era of being, you know, a little more authoritative. Because you smile at these people, you act nice to these people, especially if they don't know you. They automatically think they can slack off because you smiling at them. And it could be about anything. Whether I'm not just talking about if I was a boss of a company. It can be me just going into anywhere and asking, you know, trying to get something done. You smile at them, you're gonna end up doing their job. That's what's gonna happen if you smile at them. You're gonna end up doing your job and their job, because they're gonna slack off when they think you're something to play around with. So it's almost like you got to put a little fear in these people. You know, unfortunately, I talked to you guys about what Shaquille O'Neal had said. Say he'd rather be feared than loved. Love don't get nothing. Love, it don't get nothing. It don't get nothing done. I got such and such a years of proof of that. I got all the receipts about that. That don't get stuff done. People move with fear. How all these people stay on these jobs that don't even pay that much to begin with? Well, obviously they're afraid of something. That's why they're doing it. That's the matter of fact. Fear is what makes this world run. Is fear. Fear is what makes the world run. Man, that might be a title. I don't know. But yeah, y'all. I just want to say that, man. You know, people just getting more and more incompetent, man. Just getting more incompetent, and that's where the service goes down. That's why I'm glad it's only certain things I can do and eat and all that type of stuff, because most of these places, I don't want to be up in these places anyway, because the people too damn incompetent.